The first item, we do a Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent prayer, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing for a moment of silence. We'd like to welcome Troop 240 to Ypsilanti Township and appreciate your attendance here. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing. I'd like to declare the public hearing open for Resolution 2017-21, which is the creation of a street light special assessment district for 212 Manors at Creekside Village. So I would like to declare that public hearing open at this time. Are there any residents that would like to speak to this creation of a streetlight special assessment district for the Manors at Creekside? This was petitioned by the developer. Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:04. Clerk Rowe.
I have resolution number 2017-21, which is the creation of a streetlight special assessment district number 212 for Manors at Creekside Village. And whereas on April 4th of 2017, the Township Board of Trustees approved a plan development agreement with Lombardo Homes for the Manors at Creekside Village, which requires installation of streetlights and cameras at the entrances to the development. 2 streetlights will be constructed, one at the entrance of Lakeway Street and Merritt Road, and one at the entrance of Tuttle Hill Road and Creekway Drive. It is being requested of the Board of Trustees for the creation and establishment of the Special District Number 212 for the purpose of defraying the said cost of street lighting by special assessment against the property especially benefit. And whereas the Township Clerk requested Detroit Edison propose plans describing the street lighting improvement and the location of said improvements with an estimate of said cost, and whereas August 8, 2017, Lance Allity of DTE Community Lighting Group prepared and submitted the proposed plans to install street lighting for the Manors at Creekside Village, Ypsilanti Township, consisting of 86 parcels, which said plans included inter alia the installation of 2 overhead-fed 135-watt auto bin LED fixtures with gray housings mounted on a 17-foot, 16-inch steel arms attached to 1 existing wood pole and 1 new pole, with the cost of said improvements being approximately $5,500 for the construction. The 3 years lamp charge is $1,001.10. When you subtract the 3 years of the revenue, the contribution of $4,498.90 is left. For the total lamp charges will be $333.70. And we're on August 28th, 2017, the Township Clerk received notification from the Township Assessor that the cost of providing the streetlights for Manors at Creekside Village Subdivision, Ypsilanti Township, consisting of 86 parcels, which said plans include inter alia the installation of the 2 overhead LED fixtures with the housings mounted on the steel arms attached to the wood pole and 1 new pole. The construction cost of $4,498 for the installation will not be included in the Special Assessments District because it has been paid already by Lombardo Homes. Will be $3.88 per parcel for a 3-year period, and after that, the cost should be estimated at $3.88 per parcel for street lighting, reflective of the current rate set by DTE, as well as the current electrical usage for the year. And whereas the Township Clerk has given notice to each of the recorded property owner, party and interest in property to be assessed by first-class mail just to the record owner of party and interest at the address that was shown on the tax records at least 10 days before tonight, September 19, 2017. Typo. Public hearing setting forth the district affected in the said petition. Place and purpose of the said public hearing to allow any interested person an opportunity to voice any objections which may be offered against creating the district. And whereas the Township Clerk has also published in a newspaper general circulation the time, place, and purpose of the said public hearing and the district affected thereto. And whereas on September 19, 2017, the Charter Township of Ypsilanti held a public hearing to hear any objections which may be offered against creating the Special Assessment District. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Special Assessment District number 212 be created for the purpose of providing 2 streetlights for the Manors at Creekside Village Subdivision consisting of 86 acres. Be it further resolved, the Township Board accepts and plans accepts the plans and estimate of costs as presented by Detroit Edison for the Manors at Creekside Village consisting of 86 parcels, which said plans include the installation of 2 overhead-fed 135-watt autobahn LED fixtures with gray housings mounted on a 17-foot 6-inch steel arms attached to 1 existing wood pole and 1 new pole. The construction costs of $4,498 for the installation are not included in the special assessment and have been paid by Lombardo Homes and will be $3.88 per parcel for a 3-year period. Thereafter, the cost shall be estimated at $3.80 per parcel for street lighting, reflective of the current rate set by DTE as well as the current electrical usage of the year. Be it further resolved, the Township Supervisor shall make a special assessment upon all lands and premises contained herein to defray the expenses of lighting said streets. And be it further resolved that when the special assessment roll has been prepared and filed in the office of the Township Clerk, before the said assessment roll has been confirmed, the Township Board shall appoint a time and place when it will meet, review, and hear any objections to the assessment roll. And be that further resolved, the Township Board shall give notice of that said hearing and filing of the assessment roll in the manner prescribed by statute. And be it further resolved, the Township Board shall herein after annually determine on or before October 30th of each year the amount to be assessed in the said district for lighting said streets and shall direct the township assessor to levy such amounts herein. I would move resolution number 2017-21 creating the special assessment district number 212 for Manors at Creekside Village.
Support.
Motion by Rose, support by Wilson. Discussion or questions or comments? Just for the audience, when we have new development, we request that they put in cameras as part of the security system of it. It's only in the public road right away. It doesn't face anyone's house or private property. There are no questions. We'll do a roll call vote. Gerald Rowe. Eldridge.
Yes.
Ross Williams. Lovejoy Rowe.
Yes.
Stumbo votes yes. Doe.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
The resolution is approved. I would like to now call the public hearing to order for Resolution 2017-22, which is creation of neighborhood camera special assessment district for the Manors, and the time is 7:09. There's anyone present that would like to comment on this public hearing regarding the creation of the neighborhood camera special assessment district? This is the time to address the board. Since it was created by the developer, I don't think anyone's going to be in attendance, but I have to give the opportunity. Hearing none, I'd like to close the special hearing at 7:10, the public hearing, and Clerk Rowe.
I have Resolution 2017-22, which is the creation of neighborhood camera special assessment district number 70 Manors at Creekside Village. Whereas the requirement of the plan development agreement between Ypsilanti Township and Lombardo Homes, the Township Board of Charter Township of Ypsilanti proposes to install security cameras at the intersections of Lakeway Street and Merritt Road and Tuttle Hill and Lakeway Drive, both intersections which are entrances to the Manors at Creekside. Whereas Lombardo Homes has paid for the purchase and installation of security cameras, whereas the Township Board proposes the creation of a special assessment district consisting of 86 parcels known as the Manors at Creekside Village Subdivision, which will be benefited to defray the operation and maintenance costs of the security cameras. Whereas the Township Board has solicited requests for proposals for the proposed project describing the security camera improvements and the proposed location of said improvements and estimated costs. And whereas Conti Corporation, a video security company licensed by the state of Michigan, prepared and submitted plans to install, operate, and maintain security cameras in public areas located within the boundaries of the Manors at Creekside Village, which consists of 86 parcels with the following costs estimated. The cost for the purchase and installation of the 2 cameras is $10,000 paid by Lombardo Homes. The total annual residence cost for maintenance operation of the security cameras for 3 years is $13,029.20. The annual cost per parcel is $50.50. The monthly cost per parcel is $4.21. And whereas the plans, estimates of costs, and proposed special assessment district will be filed with the township clerk for public examination, and notice of the public hearing upon the same was published and mailed in accordance with the law and statute provided as shown by affidavits pertaining thereto on file with the township clerk. And whereas in accordance with the aforesaid notices, a hearing was held on the 19th day of September 2017, beginning at approximately 7:15 p.m., and all persons given the opportunity to be heard in the manner. And whereas, as a result of the foregoing, the Township Board believes the project to be in the best interest of the township and of the district proposed to be established therefore. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that this Township Board does hereby approve the plans for the public security cameras as prepared and presented by the township's licensed security system contractor and its annual estimate of cost for the operation and maintenance thereof. And two, that this Township Board creates a special assessment district located within the boundaries of the Manors at Creekside Village, with the district being known as Manors at Creekside Village Neighborhood Camera Special Assessment District Number 70, within which the cost of the operation and maintenance of the security cameras shall be assessed according to the benefits. And three, that on the basis of the foregoing, this Township Board does hereby direct the supervisor and assessing officer to make a special assessment roll in which shall be entered and described all parcels of land to be assessed with the names of the respective owners thereof, if known, and a total amount to be assessed against each parcel of land, which amount shall be the relative portion of the whole sum to be levied against the parcels of land in the special assessment district as benefit of the parcel to the parcel of land bears to the total benefit to all the parcels of land in the special assessment district. When the same has been completed, the supervisor assessing officer shall fix thereto her certificate stating that it was made pursuant to this resolution, and then in making such an assessment roll, she has, according to the best of her judgment, conformed in all respects to the directions contained in this resolution and applicable state statutes. Number 4, when the special assessment roll has been prepared and filed in the office of the township clerk, before said assessment roll has been confirmed, the township board shall appoint a time and place where it will meet, review, and hear any objections to the assessment roll. If the special assessment roll is confirmed, the township board intends to hold a public hearing once each year in future years on or before October 30th to reassess property in the special assessment district for the costs in the next year, and will provide notice of such hearing in such a manner as prescribed by law. Number 6, that all parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of the within resolution B and the same are hereby rescinded. I would move the resolution number 2017-22 to create the camera special assessment district for number 70 for Manors at Creekside Village.
Motion Rowe.
Support.
Support Eldridge to create the district. Is there any discussion or question?
Madam Chair, just reading through this motion, it just brought up a question that I have in my mind, and I'm thankful for Lombardo, upfronting the costs for installations of the cameras, but later on it's still $50 annually for our residents, and it just occurred to me that that might, be eventually a burden on some homeowners. It doesn't seem like a lot to some of us. I mean, I acknowledge fully that to myself, I'm privileged enough that that's not an annual cost of $50 isn't a concern, but if the township should look into or consider some sort of program for helping residents who qualify, to alleviate those costs that have been placed on them. And not necessarily for this particular group of homes. It just made me think broadly about how cameras have been a trend among our communities.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Any other comment? Hearing none, we have to do a roll call vote. Wilson?
Yes.
Doe?
Yes.
Stumbo votes yes. Lovejoy Rowe?
Yes.
Ross Williams?
Yes.
Eldridge?
Yes.
Carol Rowe?
Yes.
The resolution is approved. At this time, we can have public comments. If people would like to go to the microphone and give their name for the record. Just remember the person who does the minutes, they are not in the room. So it's helpful if you talk in the microphone.
All right, Tyrone Bridges again. In the passion of talking before, I didn't get a chance to mention a few great things that we have going on at the new West Willow Neighborhood Association that you guys can be very proud of. I personally invited the Assistant Superintendent of Van Buren Public Schools, and he showed up, and he stayed for a couple hours and gave us some real good insights on the things that he wants to open up to and actually work with us. creating a partnership with us. Through our organization Behavior Workshop, they're sending volunteer senior students from Belleville High to come help man the CRC building. And also, we just updated 4 of our computers to Windows 10, from XP to Windows 10, and now they're working real well, so we'll be opening that up for our seniors in the community, and have our youth to come in and train the senior citizens how to get on the computers and Facebook and something like that. So we're going to keep our programs going. Each month we're going to host a different series of programs, and also we're going to extend our invitation out to the township, because we got a real host of things going on. Also some cooking. I've been talking to y'all about our food program. We have a thing that we started with the Behavior Workshop called #Facebook Food War, and it's actually encouraging people to cook at home and actually save a lot of money when you cook at home and your family, and you know exactly what's in your food. So we got a lot of good stuff going on at the center. Just wanted to shed the light before I go. My kid want me at home. I got to go cook for him. Thank y'all. And thanks for Madam President. She's a wonderful person. She's doing a heck of a job, and I wanted to give her some recognition, y'all. Thank you.
Tyrone.
Joanne McCollum. I live at 1900 Tyler Road, and I too, in the moment of passion, forgot some really important statements that I would like to say. The things that Tyrone said that we're doing in the community, I want to add to them that we have a webcast now. I don't even know how to say that right, but I'm getting there with the tech stuff, okay? But we have a webcast where you can go on and you find out more what we're doing in the neighborhood. We have Facebook. We have now a parenting focus group that's going to be starting in October through SOS. They contacted us because they heard about the association and that we had the community resource building, so that's very good. We have, of course, the walking group, cardio drumming. We're going to have a loaning program for tools. So if, someone needs some tools for gardening, and we may have some other tools there too. I mean, kitchen things are tools, right? So, and also we have every year our summer program, and that's with the Washtenaw County Parks and Rec, and that went fabulous this year. So we want to keep that up. And we have a food pantry at one of our churches. But I want to say that all what we're doing, we would not be able to do this without the support of the Ypsilanti Township board. Without you all, we wouldn't be able to do all this. I mean, maybe one or two things here or there. But with all what we're doing, we have your support, and we know we have your support. We know you have our back, and that gives us the confidence to do these programs and reach out to people in the community. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Other public comments?
My name is Arloa Kaiser. I live at 1421 Melvin Street, and I have been trying to fight the Washtenaw County Road Commission about having a roundabout on the North Harris Road construction business. And I would encourage any and every one of you to please call the Road Commission. Tell them that you do not want a roundabout. I say it is not safe, and I know there are a lot of people that think they are. That's fine. Everybody has their opinion. I don't think they're safe because of cleaning the snow off, and it is a T-bone where Crossroad hits North Harris, and big trucks actually have to go out and over the roundabout. One driveway, the guy would have to back into the roundabout because I don't know that his property is enough that he can just drive out into the roundabout. The Road Commission thinks that it is safe, and how safe is it? It's the people behind the wheel that make it safe or not. And if you talk to police officers, they can tell you how our driving abilities are these days. But I would encourage everyone to call the Washtenaw County Road Commission. It is not signed off yet, so any input, I was at the meeting today, so any input to the commissioners is appreciated. Anybody you know, I had a petition and it was like nobody really was interested in it, that had over 100 names that were against it. So I would encourage you to call. It sounds like that might be better, or they consider that more. But they are an arrogant group, and they're gods. They think everything that they say is to be done. It is our, laugh at me, Larry, it is our tax dollars. I know they pay taxes too. It is, some of it is through grants. It's our tax dollars. And just to let you know that apparently this last election that we voted, the Ann Arborites got 20% of the tax dollars for the roads for bicycle paths. And I think that should go 10%, sure, but 20%, we don't need to pay that much for bicycle paths, and 20% of our people don't ride on the bicycle paths. But I would encourage everyone to call the Washtenaw County Road Commission, tell them how you are opposed to the, if you are opposed to the roundabout at North Harris and Cross Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser. Any other public comment?
Dennis Dickinson, 76 North Hewitt, Neighborhood Watch. A couple of things I want to present to the board tonight. I talked to you a bit earlier about it, Brenda. Number one is the tennis courts at Burns Park and Clubview Park with photos of their condition. I'd like to have them resurface this next fiscal year if possible. And the second one is the light at the crosswalk of Burns and Hewitt, which is gone. I know twice it got ran over, I think, or hit. But too many people are using that crosswalk now, and it's dangerous not to have a light there because people are coming up that hill or from Packard or from Congress and not even paying attention. And well, I stood out there one time, and a young couple was with me with their baby in a stroller, had 6 cars go running by. We're in the middle of the road, and 2 of them were sheriff's vehicles. And I saw in Ann Arbor and in Ypsilanti City and in Pittsfield something that might work better for the regular blinking flashlight. They have them in front of EMU and some of the schools. And that's just a light across the top of the road. When you push the button, it's not a flash. It turns a red light on, it's like a stop sign, like a stoplight. And you have to stop when that red light's on. And you've got like 30 seconds to get across the road. But that's something I saw today at Ypsilanti, and I started looking around for it, and they are around in the area. That's something to think about. And so I want to present.
Washtenaw County Road Commission, yeah, we. Right, that's a difference, yeah.
Four photos of each court, 4 courts, over 16 photos. And I'm not going to hit you with the bill for the photos, okay? That's on me.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll make sure we pass it on to the Park Commission and the Maintenance Department to look at that, and we'll refer this to the Road Commission, which we've discussed several times with them about getting flashers on the side, remember? Grove Road is in the same position. Their light kept getting hit on Grove Road as well, and they won't replace them.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Mike Morocco with the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office. I'm the operational lieutenant for Ypsilanti Township. And I was otherwise disposed this evening, but from what I understand, there was some passionate people about a communication problem we had over the weekend. And I would like to stand here for Mr. Harrison, Ms. McCullum, Mr. Wells, Ms. Ross Williams, and Tyrone, who left, and say, I apologize for dropping the ball on that communication, and we're an organization that prides itself on engaging the community, and we certainly missed the target here, and we definitely believe that all of you are very important partners to us, and I think that we've had like each of you said, there were some positive things that you wanted to say because you were so impassioned about the other things. I just want to keep in mind, I think we're working together real well. We're really making some progress in some areas, and I just wanted to stand up before you all and say, I apologize for the communication problem there.
Thank you.
All right.
Janet. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you for saying that. And they want to have a meeting with the Sheriff's Department. Yeah?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
since we're on this topic, I would like to request somebody from the Sheriff's Department come to the next board meeting because we can't all be in that meeting that's coming up. And as board members, I think we have a right to hear the same comments, the same answers to the questions why we as a township weren't notified. We have a county director who didn't seek the right avenues to close down roads for this whole event. I understand there's another one coming up this weekend or may come up, and we sought road closure permits for that. I mean, I'd just like to hear from those people. I appreciate the lieutenant coming in, kind of falling on the sword for other people. I do appreciate that. We all understand that. But I would like to hear from those people as to why this took place the way it did. Because prior to you coming in the work session, these weren't the only concerns that this neighborhood group has with what's been going on for the last several months. So I think it would be appropriate if somebody came in and just answered those questions in public so these folks could hear and we as a board could hear it as well.
All right. Lieutenant, you'll share that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. One thing that came out of it, the Sheriff's Department didn't really put this on, was my understanding. It was a young man that put it on.
Yeah, it was Daquan, yeah.
Yeah, and
So I didn't know what our involvement was going to be in it, and I found out about it from, I believe, you. Imagine that. So.
but we'll follow up and get more information.
Yeah, I think
how
the
it
one
was
this week, I think, is on MacArthur Boulevard, and then the plan was for Sugarbrook the following week, but, you know, I don't have the information right in front of me, Stan. So.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Actually, the group is supposed to go to Sugarbrook Saturday, as in this coming Saturday. I would say that if they are going to do the event, I know they're partnering with the church, and obviously there's a separation of church and state, but they might want to be considerate of Sugarbrook at this time because of an incident that happened just last month in that neighborhood, and it's probably not a good idea to do the streets. So I just wanted to make sure that that was expressed because, and they do need to, they need to know that we do have special use permits for if you're doing processions.
Is Ms. Ross Williams, when is the meeting we spoke about?
It is scheduled on the 21st at 3 o'clock.
So that
3:30, sorry, 3:30. It's been a time change. Mm-hmm.
So that's before this Saturday?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did send an email suggesting that they have to go through the process of getting a permit, and we always notify the neighborhood too, so that they can have input as well. Just to let them know the process.
And the young man actually called. He said he talked to Kathy Wyatt. I think had told him that maybe they didn't go the right procedures, and so he was extremely apologetic and extremely humble. And said he didn't, he was really, really sorry. He didn't mean to do that. And that he's just, he actually was so apologetic. I had to say to him, just stop. What you're doing is a good thing. It's okay. You're young. You're learning, and we're here to help you and support you. And God heavens knows if we need anything, it's somebody to work with our youth and to encourage them to be involved in positive ways. So anyways, and then I think he's going to try to set up a meeting, I think, with Brenda and talk about, and then he definitely wants to reach out to the West Willow Association if he hasn't already. And I know in Sugarbrook we talked about getting, because there's great leadership teams there that would love to have a young person, working in capacity of helping you. So hopefully we get it all resolved.
Okay. Are there any other public comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll go on to the consent agenda, which is the minutes of the August 15th work session, executive session, and regular meeting, as well as the statements and checks for September 5th, 2017, and for September 19th, 2017. We also have Choice Healthcare deductible for August of 2017 and Choice Healthcare administration fee for July 2017.
So move.
And the
Treasurers.
and the treasurer's report.
All right, included. So moved.
Motion Rowe, support Doe. Are there questions or comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a general legal update. Mr. Winters?
Madam Chair, there are a few updates that I want to take a moment and share with the board, but I thought at the outset, because those updates also have a kind of a tie bar to some of the comments that were raised this evening in regards to Mr. Wells as well as Joanne, Mr. Harrison's issues about, and this is the phrase that we've used over the years as neighborhood stabilization, how to continue to make sure that the neighborhoods become the focal point of trying to ensure the renaissance of the township, given what went on during the last 12, 14 years, especially with the housing implosion. And we've all heard the old saying sometimes that all roads lead to Rome, which is simply a way of saying that there are many paths that lead to a given result. And again, if you look at the given result that we're trying to achieve, that is truly neighborhood stabilization. So what are some of those many paths that lead to that given result? Over the years, I probably should have already prepared this by now, but some kind of a circle showing those pathways. But just for the sake of tonight's meeting and then going on to the few items I want to update the board, if you kind of imagine the neighborhood stabilization as being the spoke in the wheel, you'll see this on tonight's agenda. Township has one pathway carved out in regards to how we deal with drug houses in the township. Ypsilanti Township led the way with the Sheriff's Department, prosecuting attorney support, leadership at the board level, to allow the township to have legal standing to go and shut down a house that's been used for drug dealing. Lieutenant Morocco and members of the CAT team have been very aggressive in trying to identify those houses. I'm sorry Mr. Bridges had to leave because it's people like him that also provide information that lead to our ability to attack those houses that continue to allow drugs to be sold. If landlords are aware that their tenants are selling drugs, after they get a warning, they claim they didn't know what was going on. Even on that issue, we've had some individuals that have received more than one warning letter because they own multiple homes. And from now on, it's our position, you get one warning letter, and that's good for us to go after the next house that you're going to oversee that's selling drugs. So the padlock statute, there's two on tonight's board agenda that we identify. We've already moved to get restraining orders in those two cases. But the padlock statute is just one pathway. Another pathway the township has been very aggressive in following is each year the county treasurer has a number of vacant properties that come up for sale. The township, by being a governmental unit, has a right of first refusal, which means that we have the right to buy those houses so long as we can sell them to a nonprofit. In every case so far, it's been Habitat for Humanity. We take those houses, otherwise that would be sold and be used for rental properties, And Habitat will put anywhere from 40, 50, sometimes $60,000 into homes, and many of them are now being sold. We've been encouraging them to also expand to other parts of the township. They've done Sugar Brook, they've done West Willow, they've done the neighborhood I grew up in over there off of Holmes Road. And they continue to acquire as many as they can. And we do have an issue tonight that I'll get into about the 2017 foreclosure auction. But again, that right of first refusal is another pathway that we follow to try and stabilize our neighborhoods and reduce the amount of rental properties in the township. Just keep in mind we have over 14,000 single-family homes, and so we have quite a few single-family homes that could potentially be rental properties. Another pathway now is we've got development agreements on new development that will ensure that those properties cannot be purchased for the intent of actually being speculative and being used for rental properties. We've sued, I guess, every bank in the United States over the number of vacant properties. And even though we thought we've turned the corner, and we have, we still find a number of vacant properties that are bank-owned. And they don't get a pass either. The banks were the ones who did profit in terms of getting bailed out. And so some of those who's who banks that have at times not returned the community benefit back have held on to properties when they could have been sold and rehabilitated, and we continue to hold the banks accountable along with property owners. We have a lot of property owners that sometimes will just throw things out in the yard as if, you can't just throw things out in the yard, be it furniture, be it appliances, and just store things. That's an eyesore. And people coming down your street trying to buy a house, they're going to judge that neighborhood by what they see at times in the front yard. And so it's not that we're being mean-spirited, but you can't just turn your yard into a junkyard. We're very aggressive in trying to work with HUD as well as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to be part of their First Look program, which allows us at times our right of first refusal to buy properties, and they've also stepped up. And so there's a lot of property maintenance issues that also they are very aggressive. Mike Razik's department is out there every day trying to enforce the ordinances. So I just want to at least right now take a moment and just kind of at least, I didn't cover every pathway. I know there's a lot of the agenda tonight, but just want to assure I've actually spoken before at the neighborhood, the West Willow Neighborhood Association about some of these pathways in regards to what we try and do. Not just West Willow, but every neighborhood in this township has many of those same kinds of challenges. And so those are kind of the tools in the toolbox that this township board really is the one that authorizes these type of actions, because but for the township board putting aside the time, the resources to do this, no matter how many pathways I identify, won't do any good because they're the ones who have to actually say thumbs up. Now, that being said, in regards to the actual attorney report per se this evening, there are some properties that have come to our attention that I want to also make sure the board's aware. As you may know, for the last year and a half, there's a house at 543 Wharton that's owned by Spectrum Community Services. They are located in Westland. There's a small group, AFC Home Township, totally supports homes of, they have a license by the state of Michigan to be group homes. This particular house, however, has been totally neglected by the authorized licensee to the point, I won't go into details because I don't need to, I'll share that with the board already. But this particular home on Warden Street right now actually has had over 17 calls for service. I've listened to the 911 tapes in the last year and a half. Angie has also. And in this particular address, 543 Wharton, the caregivers or people that were entrusted to oversee the care of the people in the home, there's been 2 of them actually charged with vulnerable adult abuse, 4th degree. In other words, they've been criminally charged by the Washtenaw County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. I know Brendan's office has been dealing with the neighborhood watch over there for months now in regards to the lack of oversight at this location. And so at this point in time, I have recommended to the board that we proceed with filing the appropriate complaint with the state of Michigan seeking the revocation of their license. The license is a privilege. It's not a right. And when you're not going to take care of the most vulnerable population in our community any better than what they've done, and also disrupt the neighborhood to the point where they've had to call the police take resources and respond accordingly, that license needs to be revoked. We have a similar situation at 1241 Cross Street, where there's also investigations being conducted by the state of Michigan. No more patients are being allowed to be admitted to the facility. They also have a special conditional use that came from the Township Planning Commission, and we're also recommending that we initiate the appropriate revocation of this special conditional use. Again, when you have licenses or special conditional uses, that comes with responsibility, and when people are being abused or neglected to the point where they have in those two addresses, then the Township Board will not turn a blind eye and look away. Those two are very important. I wanted to have the board to make sure that we were on the same page in proceeding as I recommended. In regards to the 923 Ecorse Road, this is the former Forbes Dry Cleaners. This is the one that we had to fight with the county treasurer, and I say fight. There was a fight because she was determined to sell this property that was contaminated with the carcinogenic known as PERC, and would not take it off the auction list. And finally, we got the MDEQ to have this property transferred to the Michigan Land Bank. This property is still one that needs to be fully investigated, but right now it appears this building will be demolished. It's going to have to also have remediation on the soil, possibly the groundwater. And again, all of our neighborhoods, as well as our commercial districts, they all are in play in regards to trying to achieve not only neighborhood stabilization, but also to enhance the commercial and tax base of the township. Finally, in keeping with the struggles that we've had with the county treasurer on something that should be very, very simple, at this point in time, I feel that I also have no choice but to confirm that the board has no objection to our office filing on Monday what is called a writ of mandamus. And what this means is this. It's very rarely used, because you'll understand even more so why it's rarely used, because a writ of mandamus is when you ask the court to compel a public official to do a duty that they are legally supposed to do. In other words, in this case, back on June 26th, the Township Board had passed a resolution authorizing the township to purchase 3 residential properties pursuant to our right of first refusal. Those properties were going to be purchased, and they were, and they are going to, in turn, be sold to Habitat, who again is going to invest substantial resources into ensuring those properties become single-family properties for single-family properties and not rental properties. Treasurer Doe and I went over to the county treasurer's office on June 26th. He had the checks, and he paid for the properties as requested. We got the receipts, and we're promised that we'd have the deeds to these properties in 30 days. That was June 26th. July came along, August came along, September came along. Still no deeds. I've written the attorney for the treasurer, asked for the copies of the deeds, no response. I wrote another letter saying that if you don't give us the deeds by Friday, we will ask the court to compel you, the county treasurer, to give us the quit claim deeds. We cannot sell the properties to Habitat until we have in our possession the quit claim deeds that we paid for. That's what a mandamus action is. It'd be like someone coming to the township, paying for a building permit to have a garage built, paying the fees, getting approvals, and then for some reason the building department saying, we're not going to give you the permit. You have no discretion here. It's a ministerial act, and it should have already been done. And also the reason why it's becoming a timing issue is Habitat's already notified Clerk Row that they stand ready to close on those properties as soon as we have the deeds to them, and they have to close by October 31st in order to maintain the tax exempt status. Otherwise, the township will have to carry those properties over to next year, insure them, winterize them, and do all the things that you have to do if you're going to have vacant property, when the whole thing is just totally nonsensical because the township has paid in full the price, and all he wants the deed. So, again, there's times I wish there was a different audience, a bigger audience, not different audience, but bigger audience, to hear the complaints of the township as it pertains to what's going on over there in the county treasurer's office, and the fact that she does not like the township, does not like Habitat, does not like me, doesn't like anybody up here. That's fine, but you got to do your job. And so we've paid for these properties. We're entitled to receive them. She has issued deeds already to other persons who purchased properties. We're aware of that. And so at this point in time, there is no good reason, no reason whatsoever as to why it would take 3 months for us to get our quitclaim deeds. So all those issues tonight also kind of tied back to the issues that were raised during the work session about neighborhood stabilization. And again, these are just a sample of some of the issues that we deal with day in, day out. On a different note, the fire chief left earlier today. We did have a good meeting today with our 2017. Larry's here with our firefighter negotiations. They have a new team of officers that are now heading up the negotiations, and so we actually had a very, very positive meeting, I believe, and so hopefully we'll get that contract issue front and center. That contract, as you know, did expire December 31st of last year, and so we want to get that contract dealt with because I believe you have 2 more ASME contracts and maybe a Teamsters contract that's coming up for negotiations at the end of this year. So that's kind of a, I shouldn't say a quick summary, but it is a summary of what I've been working on in the last few weeks. And if there's any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer those.
Are there any questions? Would you like to just, your injuries or?
Yeah. It's Kaiser was a sidewalk accident, so
It didn't happen at work. I just want everyone to
That was the fight with the treasurer of the county.
she won. I lost. My tongue's still working. That's about all I can say. So,
Thank you, Mr. Winters. And I'm sorry that we have to go to those actions, and hopefully she will do the right thing.
Well, we've given them to Friday, and that's more than reasonable. And it's really embarrassing. It's
sad.
It's very embarrassing because we're all adults. I mean, we all really should do what our jobs are. And again, there's this. But now time is of the essence. We have to sell those to Habitat by October 31st, and it has to be done.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll go on to old business. The first item, Karen Wallen is not present, and requesting this just stay on the agenda. Is that all right with everyone? Karen Wallen is not present. Okay. Number 2 is the second reading of ordinance number 2017-474, YCUA sewage disposal service rates. The first reading was held at the August 15th, 2017 regular meeting. Clerk Rowe.
All right, I have ordinance number 2017 to amend Chapter 62, Article 4, Section 62-77 of the Code of Ordinances, Charter Township, to increase the sewage disposal rates. Be it ordered by the Charter Township of Ypsilanti that Section 62-77 of Chapter 62, Article 4 of the Code of Ordinances be revised as follows. And there's a whole list of billings that were rendered prior to October 1st, 2017. It has the meter size and allowable cubic feet and what the charges are and what they will be. For all usage in excess of allowable usage, the rate per 100 cubic feet shall be as follows. As for the contract communities, it's .244. OMR is $2.09 2.098, and for the total of $2.34, and for all others, it's a total of $2.46. The ordinance shall be effective upon the date of publication. I would so move the ordinance and the changes to the ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Rowe, support by Doe to approve the second reading of the ordinance for the YCUA water and sewer rates. Are there any questions or comments?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I do have a comment. I just wanted to thank the Director Yucca. I know at the last meeting, I had asked a question in regards to, when this came up, in regards to if residents can know about affordability options, like if they were having trouble with their water bill. And he just let me know, actually, which I'm really happy to learn, that information has been included on the Whitetown website, Yucca website. So thank you very much. I think that's helpful for our residents that may be experiencing trouble paying their water bills. Thanks.
Thank you. This is a
I was just going to say, I made the motion. Who supported it?
Doe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because it's an ordinance, which is the laws of the township, we have to do a roll call vote. Gerald Rowe?
Yes.
Eldridge?
Yes.
Ross Williams?
Yes.
Lovejoy Rowe?
Yes.
Stumbo votes yes. Doe?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
The second reading of the resolution is approved. Under new business, item number 1, we have budget amendment number 12. Clerk Rowe?
I have a motion to offer to amend the 2017 budget, and this is the 12th amendment, to increase the general fund by $1,269,156. That's $1,183,369 for the Tyler Dam drain, if I could talk. $1,238 for the health care deduction, $1,785 for PTO payout, and $82,764 for the golf course repairs. That will increase the general fund to $10,935,359 and approve the line item changes as outlined. Motion to, or move to increase environmental service fund by $1,238, and that's for health care deduction, to $2,619,816, and approve the line item changes as outlined. And I move to increase the hydro fund by $2,476 to $397,476, and that's also for a health care deduction. And finally, to move to increase the golf course fund by $82,764, that's for the golf cart pass, to $1,177,733, and improve the line item changes as outlined. That's my motion.
Move to approve.
Motion, Doe?
Support.
Rowe? Are there any questions or comments on the budget amendments that are presented? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 is the first reading of Resolution 2017-20, which is a proposed ordinance 2017-475, an ordinance to amend Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances, Article 4, regarding persons standing in roadways soliciting contributions on behalf of the charitable or civic organizations. Clerk Rowe?
Resolution, whereas the Michigan, this is number 2017-20, and whereas the Michigan legislature enacted Public Act 112 of 2017, which governs local government authority to regulate roadside solicitations by charitable and civic organizations, and whereas the PA 112 of 2017 requires local governments with ordinances regulating roadside solicitations amend their roadside solicitation ordinances so they are consistent with provisions of Public Act 112 of 2017, and whereas the amendments that are set forth in Ordinance 2017-475 bring Township Ordinance 42-154 into compliance with state law by allowing charitable and civic organizations to solicit roadside contributions from persons inside motor vehicles during daylight hours. And be it resolved that ordinance number 2017-475 is hereby adopted by reference. I would so move the resolution and first reading of proposed ordinance number 2017-475.
Motion. Support Wilson. Attorney Angela King is here. If anyone has any questions regarding the discussed in the work session, we have an ordinance that prohibits it, but state law was recently enacted that allows charitable organizations to collect money in the middle of a road, so, or in the road. And so we have to change our ordinance to meet state law. Did I summarize that pretty well, Angie?
You did a good job.
Okay. All right.
Madam
Any
Chair,
questions or comments?
Madam Chair, just a question, I guess, for Attorney King. Hi. Are charitable organizations required to have their own insurance when they're doing their charitable donations inside the middle of the road? So in other words, are they required to have any type of insurance or any other liability?
Under the state law, they're required to have $500,000 worth of insurance.
Okay.
And it's also required that they can only solicit where there is some kind of traffic control device. They have to be wearing clothing that's easily seen, and it's only during daylight hours.
Thank you.
Does it have to identify them?
Could you please go, you need to go to the microphone, I'm sorry. The person who types the minutes, they're not in the room.
Does the uniform or the clothing require them to identify which organization they represent?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, is there going to be Red Cross, the Purple Heart, Boy Scouts, whatever?
That is not contained in the state law requirements, that they be identified as such.
They
So
just have to be a organization.
they have to be a charitable organization recognized by the IRS, and then the other requirements. And then under state law, they're entitled to solicit donations from the roadside.
And who will be checking it?
Well,
The state.
You just make the laws.
No, I'm serious, because we get complaints about people doing it.
Our local law enforcement can inquire as to what kind of organization they're from, because initially you may not know whether it's a charitable organization or not, and then request verification in terms of their insurance and so forth.
And just trying to figure out enforcement of it. So,
Well, the state statute doesn't address how this ordinance is going to be enforced. The state legislature, I think, really they wanted to allow it for charitable organizations. I assume that there was pressure on the legislature to enact this so that some of the charitable organizations, I think, we've all seen them in cities.
right, yeah.
At traffic lights and so forth. And I think these types of organizations are what really were the stimulus for the passage of this particular act, which required our local governments to rescind any prohibitions against solicitations by charitable organizations.
So does the township lay out the process for where they file the paperwork and everything?
Well, we have an ordinance on solicitations. We typically refer to it as a peddler's ordinance. So you do have to get a permit from the township if you're going to solicit within our community. And so in this instance, the township would require, for a permit, the insurance information, as well as verification of the IRS designation, and the location of where they're going to solicit, so we can ensure that it's somewhere where there is actually a traffic control device.
Okay. That's just not all in here.
We're amending in our peddler's ordinance. We simply originally prohibited anyone,
From the road right away.
charitable or for personal gain, from soliciting from roadside.
Right.
So this amends the peddler's ordinance to allow charitable organizations to solicit. But all the other requirements, such as getting a permit and everything else that's in the ordinance, those are still in place and would be required.
Okay. Clerk Rowe, did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm just saying they still got to follow the same process.
Yes.
Peddlers.
Yes.
It just says they can't do it in the road where they couldn't before.
Right.
Subject to those four, dress appropriately during the day, traffic signal, and another one, right? Whatever. Three. Insurance.
Insurance, yeah. All right, are there any questions or comments regarding this very dangerous ordinance that we are adopting at this time?
Madam Chair, I do have one small comment, and thank you, Attorney King, for explaining it. Again, as I said in the working session, there was a reason, I believe, why townships, governments, local governments was enacted to stop people from asking for charitable donations in the middle of the road. I think it had to do with someone being killed or either hurt seriously from doing so. And, I mean, obviously we're a local government. We have to comply with state law. But, it's kind of similar to the fireworks. And we still have to deal with that, and that was changed on the state level also. So I wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. So we have a motion and support, and have to do another roll call vote since this is the law of our land. Wilson?
Yes.
Doe?
Yes.
Rowe, Stumbo votes yes. Lovejoy Rowe.
Yes.
Ross Williams.
Yes.
Eldridge.
Yes.
Gerald Rowe. The first reading is approved. Thank you, Angie. Number 3 is request approval of change order number 1 for the golf cart pathways project performed by Best Asphalt in the amount of $23,596.50, which is budgeted in line item 584-584-000-971-000. Motion Rose, support Doe. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is a request to approve contract with OHM to provide professional engineering services for additional Green Oak golf cart pathway work in an amount not to exceed $5,964, which is budgeted in line item 584-584-000-971-000.
Move to approve.
Motion Wilson,
Support.
support Rowe. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is request authorization for payment to the Washtenaw County Water Resource Commission in the amount of $1,183,368.25 for the Ypsilanti Township at-large assessment and the Ypsilanti Township property owner's assessment for the Tyler Dam Drain Construction Project, which is budgeted in line item 101-970-000-971-000.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Gerald Rowe. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6 is request of Brian McCleary to the Assistant Assessor to enter into negotiations to sell township-owned land 114 Jerome.
So moved.
Motion Gerald Rose, support Eldridge, and this will come back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is request of Brian McCleary, Assistant Assessor, to enter into negotiations to sell township-owned land at 101 LeMay, and it will be brought back to the board.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Rose, support Ross Williams. Number 8 is request of Brian McCleary. Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 8 is request of Brian McCleary, the Assistant Assessor, for approval of letter of agreement for sale of parcel K11-14-403008 to Leonard Sanders in the amount of $2,500 contingent upon attorney approval.
So moved.
Support.
Motion Rowe, support Eldridge. Discussion? The township owns several lots that we have received from actually the Washtenaw County Treasurer. So we're slowly trying to sell lots to adjacent property owners in order to get them on the tax roll so that we don't have to maintain them and provide additional land for residents that live next to them. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9 is request of Mike Radzik, the OCS Director, for authorization to seek legal action if necessary to abate public nuisance for property located at 1241 Rambling in the amount of $10,000, which is budgeted in line item 101 950-000-801-023.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion Doe, support Wilson. Michael, you didn't get a chance to talk about it at the work session.
Certainly. This is a property maintenance public nuisance request. It's 1241 Rambling Road. It's in the Holmes area neighborhood. It is owner-occupied. Beverly Finkbeiner is the owner who lives there with several family members. The Sheriff's Department called our ordinance officers there back in July during a unrelated police investigation because of the conditions that they encountered. We were able to subsequently do a complete inspection with the owner's consent. There's a long list of code violations, structural stuff, electrical, plumbing, so on and so forth. But when our housing inspector was there, he detected a gas leak and immediately reported it. DTE ended up coming out, verified that there was a gas leak and an explosion danger. They were not able to successfully resolve it, resulting in gas service to the home being terminated because they couldn't locate and fix the gas leak, partly due to the conditions inside the home. Our housing inspector left, went to the fire department and picked up some free smoke detectors, took them back and helped them install them for their own safety because there weren't any. Since then, we've been unable to get anywhere. It seems like they are lacking resources. We've made all the referrals that we normally make and haven't been able to help them resolve this. The house is condemned and they continue living there, and this is genuinely a last resort request for the safety and welfare of the people at that home.
Questions or comments? And this is if necessary, right?
Yes, if necessary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is request of Mike Radzik, OCS Director, for authorization to seek legal action to abate public nuisance drug houses by padlocking located at 147 Jerome Avenue and 7794 Berwick in the amount of $20,000, which is budget in line item 101 950-000-801-023.
Move to approve.
Motion Doe, support Wilson.
Thank you. These are both, as you mentioned, drug padlock cases under state law. The first one at 147 Jerome Avenue, which is north of Michigan Avenue, south of Holmes Road. Sheriff's Department raided the house with a search warrant as part of a narcotics investigation. It is also owner-occupied. The owners apparently allow various relatives, younger relatives, to live there at different times, and the ones that were living there at that time were the targets of the investigation. They observed and verified that heroin was being sold by these individuals out of the home. One has been charged with a possession of heroin and cocaine case, and the other one is pending distribution charges. They're still waiting for the state police lab reports to come back. In addition, last December, there was an emergency patrol response to the house involving a particularly heinous injuries in a domestic violence case that involved firearms violence, and also there was evidence of narcotics trafficking involving another relative, not the same target, but a different relative that was arrested on that particular case. And so because of all of these facts, I requested the administrative authority to have the attorney begin this litigation. which has already occurred, and this case has been filed and served in the circuit court, and it's in progress right now. So we're asking for the board to verify that authorization. The other case is very similar. It occurred at 7794 Berwick Drive. This is in the Green Farms neighborhood on the south side of the township. The house was raided with a search warrant involving a narcotics investigation. This was also owner-occupied. The investigation led to evidence of drug trafficking, and there was a connection between the trafficking here and a supply at what the police still call the Riley Court Apartments on East Michigan Avenue. I know it's changed names, but I can't remember the new name of it. This particular owner, who was also the occupant and target of the investigation, has been arrested, charged, and was fast-tracked through the drug court here at 14B District Court, and is currently undergoing intense treatment through what's called the CORE project through the Sheriff's Office, where they identify people who could be assisted through court-ordered intense treatment. And so this particular case, that person was fast-tracked and is hopefully getting the assistance they need. However, we need to still follow through. We've been working with the homeowner's father, who came up from Florida and worked with Bill Elling to temporarily secure the house because of all the other individuals that had free access even after she was arrested. And so I also sought the administrative approval, and this case is in the works to be filed, and we're asking for your confirmation of that authorization. And I would just like to mention, too, that each time you authorize one of these drug padlock cases, a lot of work takes place after that. And we have followed up with each and every one. Each and every one has been successfully adjudicated through the circuit court by our attorney's office and followed through by the ordinance office. For instance, the house in West Willow on Cedar Cliff that was being used for heroin sales has been emptied and padlocked. In addition, the house at 555 East Grand Boulevard off Michigan Avenue with an active meth lab has also been padlocked by our ordinance staff working with the Sheriff's Department. And there was another one last night, I think the 1600 block of Holmes Road. They interrupted another active meth operation. And unfortunately, the state police, who have a special team to come out and deconstruct these meth labs because they're highly volatile and could explode, they weren't able to come out last night, apparently because their overtime budget for the year has been exhausted because of all the activity going on in the state of Michigan. So the Sheriff's Department literally had to have an officer camp out to protect that scene until they could come today during regular business hours. So that case may likely end up with our attorneys sometime soon. So thank you for all of your support and your continued commitment to helping us rid the community of these drug houses.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, I just had a question, and thank you so much, Mike, for your work on this.
Sure.
And it continues to surprise me that literally right down the street from my house, and not one but two cases now, that this continues to happen. But in both of these, it's a search warrant was executed. But how does the Sheriff's Department get to that point? Is it by people calling about suspicious activity, or is there some other factor that usually leads them to those homes?
It varies. But I would say, based on my experience and what I've seen, the police reports I've read, almost every one of these starts with a tip from someone in the neighborhood, either through Neighborhood Watch, where somebody attending a meeting pulls the officer aside privately afterwards and says, hey, I think this is going on, please take a look at it, or sometimes they get sent in through our website. We have the police complaint section of our website, or other phone calls from neighbors, some anonymous, some not anonymous. So the police get that information, and as time permits, they open an investigation. It's usually the community action team, the CAT team. This is what they do for the most part, and they'll use their different investigative resources to try to collect enough evidence to establish probable cause that these crimes are being committed, and probable cause that they're being committed inside that particular property. If they're able to convince a judge that they've gathered enough evidence to establish probable cause, the judge will authorize a search warrant. Some are regular search warrants, and some are no-knock search warrants. If there's evidence of violent felons, or if they know there's firearms or other dangerous conditions, sometimes they'll knock, announce their presence, and if nobody comes to the door, they'll forcibly enter. A no-knock search warrant, because of the high likelihood of violence, authorizes them to forcibly enter without announcing their presence to give them more of an element of surprise. So sometimes it originates from other things. One of our cases originated from a heroin overdose death in York Township, where that deceased young man's father collected evidence on his own that led them back to Cedar Cliff Street in West Willow. And so that's how that investigation went underway. But like I said, most of them I do believe come from tips from people who live nearby and are very concerned and want to cooperate and help law enforcement and help their own neighborhood.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions?
Madam Chair, I have one. It's not really, it's a comment, but it's also talking about basically, I just want to thank you for all your work with this. I know I attended the opium forum that they had earlier, I think it was last Sunday, and I just wanted to kind of let our residents know this is not just an Ypsilanti Township issue. This is a county-wide issue and a country-wide issue. So, you know, it's just not, you know,
Right.
just here. And I just wanted people to know that.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially with our scouts here. And what we do in Ypsilanti Township, our board and with our sheriff's department, our staff and legal team, we aggressively hold people accountable. You know, if you're trying to deal drugs in the community, we turn the heat up and you're not welcome here. And there's a padlock statute that our legal counsel uses that says if you're convicted or charged with a known drug dealing home, then there's a state law that says they can padlock it for 6 months. And
12 months, I'm sorry.
12 months,
Yes.
okay, I'm sorry, 12 months. And we have had success in doing that with several of the homes. So then we'll say, well, people, you come to Ypsilanti Township, you're going to take a chance if you try to do that, because we're going to protect our young people. And we don't want them to start doing what's going on now with popping pills. So kids are taking prescription pills at a very young age now. It's already down to elementary school, is what the presentation said. And then once you get addicted to those painkillers and you don't have access to them anymore, then you go to heroin. And we don't want that. We want to do whatever we can to prevent anyone and help those who are addicted, which is what we also do through our court system. But everything we do is for a reason, to protect our residents, our community, and our children. So it sounds harsh what we're doing, but there's a reason behind it, and I just want you all to know that. So we have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is request of Mike Radzik, OCS Director, for approval of the 2017 annual animal control contract for a term of 1 year in the amount of $45,000 budgeted in line item 266-301-000-831-012.
Move to approve.
Motion Doe, support Rowe. Questions or comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12 is a request to set a public hearing date of Tuesday, October 17th at approximately 7 p.m. for our special annual assessment tax roll. Motion Rose, support Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 13 is request to set public hearing dates of Tuesday, October 17th, 2017 for the creation of 2 special assessment districts. One is for Streetlight Special Assessment District for Creekside Village South, and for creation of Special Assessment District for Creekside Village South cameras.
This request came from the neighborhood, or from the homeowners association, and then we got the prices for that, and then We actually sent it to assessing, who gave us the cost per parcel, and then we did a survey. Sent a survey out, and people responded. I don't have the numbers right here.
52%. Well, you have it.
Yeah, anyway, I'll have it up there. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's in the memo. Thank you. So, yeah, and anyway, so this is the next step in the process. Now we'll send a notice out to all the residents saying the official legal public hearing is scheduled, and you can come voice your opinions or send in emails, and we'll have the hearing.
Okay.
It's kind of the same as the other one. It's the older half of the neighborhood, which is called Creekside Village South, and the same issue because they have the decorative lighting. You can't put cameras on those, so we looked at it, and there's two entrances down closer to like the end that's towards Marks Road, and they'll put two lights up there, and then two cameras can be hung also. So, do you have a motion? Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Rowe. I'll make the motion.
Motion Rowe. Support Eldridge. Any questions?
Madam Chair. Madam Chair. I just think it's interesting whenever we discuss these cameras and street lights that continues to come up as well. And I just want to point out, I mean, it's still a majority, but the support for the cameras and lights were 29, and those who did not support are 20. I mean, it's actually still a really good return response rate.
It was a higher return,
but it is really, I think, relatively close. So, anyways.
And so they'll be notified of the hearing, and the residents can come out.
And they can also email for those two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they have standing if it's created if they send something in writing, email or a letter.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Authorization bids. Request award the low bid for additional work on the Green Oaks Golf Cart pathway improvements to cross renovation in the amount of $71,800. Improve a contingency budget amount of $5,000 to cover unforeseen issues for a total amount of $76,800, which is budget in line item 584-584-000-971-000.
Move to approve.
Support. Motion Doe, support Rowe. Attorney Winters, have you reviewed the contract?
I'll give you. I have a copy yet, do I?
You do not.
I'm sorry?
I do not yet have the copy of the contract.
So, contingent upon attorney's approval?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's no other business other than I would like to say thank you for everyone's kind words and condolences. And I apologize for missing the last meeting, but I really appreciate the comments and kindness that was given to me. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Motion Rowe, motion Doe, support Gerald Rowe. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 8:24 p.m.
This is a really good price for this.
Going down.
Going down.
Going down.
Going down. You just a mess.
Hey, Matt.
How's that?
Matt.
If I was you, I'd quit it.
I know. They probably, where's this company out of?